We all know how incredibly important reading is for a kid's future. I mean, it's everything. But what happens when a student starts falling behind? You know, there are so many programs out there claiming to have the answer, but finding one that can actually prove it works with cold, hard data, well, that's a whole different challenge. Today we're going to dig into the story of a program that did exactly that.
And it really all comes down to this one simple, powerful question. Is it possible that less than 2 hours a week of focused, one-on-one attention can completely change a child's path in school and in life? That's the big question we're here to answer.
Okay, so first things first. Before you can help, you have to find the kids who need it the most. And that's exactly what the program we're looking at, the Augustine Literacy Project, or ALP for short, is designed to do.
And the data, wow, it makes this crystal clear. Just look at this table. It shows the average reading scores at the start of the school year. For first graders, the kids who get into the ALP program are starting almost 10 points behind their classmates. And in second grade, the gap is even wider, almost 15 points. This is so important. ALP isn't just picking students at random. They are intentionally finding and serving the kids who are already starting the race from way behind.
So what is this program that's trying to close such a significant gap? Let's take a peek under the hood.
The ALP model is super specific, and that's its strength. First, it's one-on-one tutoring for our youngest students, K through 2, which you know is just incredibly powerful. It's not just random help either. It's all based on the Orton-Gillingham approach, which is really the gold standard for teaching reading. And here's the amazing part. It's all delivered by trained community volunteers who meet with their student twice a week, every week, focusing on schools that need the most support.
Now, this all sounds fantastic, right? But you know, sounding good on paper is one thing. The real million-dollar question is, how do we prove that the program itself is what's making the difference?
And this, right here, is a huge statistical problem. We just saw that the ALP kids start the year way behind everyone else, so you can't just compare their final scores to the class average. It's not fair. It's not an apples-to-apples comparison. It's biased right from the get-go.
So how do the pros solve this? With this really brilliant statistical tool called propensity score matching. Just think of it like this. For every single student in the ALP program, the researchers go on a hunt through the data to find their statistical twin. That's another student not in the program who looks almost identical on paper. Same school, same starting reading score, same background. By doing this, you create a perfect comparison group. Now, any difference you see at the end of the year, it's almost certainly because of the tutoring.
Okay, and here's where the story gets really interesting. ALP didn't just rest on their laurels. They decided to do a major overhaul of their entire program, rolling it out for the 2023-24 school year. They called it their Enhanced Delivery Model.
And this wasn't just one little tweak. It was a whole series of smart, deliberate upgrades. They started by introducing scripted lessons to make sure every kid got the same high-quality instruction. Then they made that the new standard for all their training. Then they went back and retrained all their veteran tutors on the new system. And to top it off, they launched a remote platform to reach even more kids.
The thinking behind these changes was just brilliant. It was all about making sure every lesson was top-notch, making things easier for the amazing volunteers, and building a system that could keep learning and improving. But the biggest goal? Figuring out how to grow and help way more kids without watering down the incredible results. So we have the problem, the tutoring method, and this huge program upgrade. The researchers ran the numbers for the 2023-24 school year, carefully comparing every ALP student to their statistical twin. So, what happened? Just look at this graph. This tells the whole story for first graders. The solid green line shows the ALP students who are at or above grade level. They start way lower than their matched peers in the dotted line. But then watch what happens over the year. They climb, and then, by the end of the year, they don't just catch up, they actually cross over and surpass their peers. It is an absolutely stunning turnaround. And that incredible visual leads us to this one single number, 46.1%. That is the massive jump in the percentage of first-grade ALP kids who reached grade-level reading in just one school year. But, you know, how big of a deal is that, really? Well, this bar chart puts it into perspective. That 46.1 percentage point gain for ALP students was nearly double the gain of their carefully matched peers, their statistical twins, who were identical at the start, only improved by about 24 points. So this wasn't just progress, this was like hitting a turbo boost button.
And when we look at the actual raw scores, the story is just as powerful. First graders in ALP gained almost 6 extra points compared to their peers. And for second graders, the jump was even bigger, over 6 points. These numbers are what we call statistically significant, which is just a fancy way of saying there is no way this happened by random chance. The program upgrade was definitely working.
Okay, so the numbers on the charts look great, but let's bring this back down to earth. What does this all actually mean for a 7-year-old kid sitting in a classroom trying to learn to read? That's what really matters.
Seriously, let's think about that. What is a 6-point gain on a literacy test? It sounds so abstract, but the real-world answer is anything but.
And here it is. That little 6-point advantage is often the difference between a child being flagged as at some risk of falling behind and being confidently considered at grade level. Think about that. That one shift can change how they see themselves, how their teachers see them. It can redefine their whole experience in school. It is absolutely a life-changing difference.
So when you put it all together, you really have a blueprint for success. It's a model that's powered by community volunteers, which means it can actually grow. It's guided by data, always looking for ways to get better. It's standardized, so every kid gets that same chance. And it uses technology to make the whole thing smarter and more efficient.
And that leaves us with one last, really big question to chew on. If a focused, smart, volunteer-driven program like this can produce these kinds of incredible, life-altering results for the very students who need it most, just imagine what could be possible if we took these lessons and applied them on an even bigger scale.